Yes, sir, because
We spoke about the fact that when you are using a certain system, I remember we spoke about the traditional costing system. We spoke about the ABC system, and we also spoke about the other system where I spoke about cost behavior. I don't know if you still remember. I said the cost do not behave the same.
yes, I remember you mentioned
Remember?
something like that. Yes, sir.
We said some costs are and some costs are
Variable.
variable. So we've got variable costs and we've got fixed costs. Okay. So we must just know that fixed costs do not change irrespective of change in units. That's the characteristic.
Yes.
So it means within a particular range, as long as you don't change the range. For example, if you are renting a room, né, and you pay 5,000, it's going to be 5,000
Yes, sir.
according to the agreement. But if you tell the landlord and say, nah, man, this room is not enough for me. Can I get an extra room? Now you're going to have how many rooms? Two rooms.
2 rooms, yes.
That that will be the only time when the fixed cost will change. They only change because you change the range. I don't know if you understand. If the range is changed, the fixed cost will change. But if you don't change the range,
The
the
fixed
fixed cost
cost
will
will
not
change.
change. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes, sir.
But this one, we said, it changes due to the change in units. In other words, the more units you produce, the more costs you are going to incur. We even talked about the electricity. The more electricity you use, the more costs you are going to pay. That will be called variable costs.
Yes, sir.
So now, but remember, here I'm talking about the total. Here, let me just say total. So in other words, it's like a total of costs. Total. Even here, I'm talking about total, just to be specific. Like you're buying a loaf of bread. If you buy a loaf of bread, one, you spend 20 rand. If you buy two, 40 rand. If you buy three, 60 rand. How can you classify the cost of that bread between the two?
It's the it's the total
Mm-mm.
of fixed cost.
I say the difference between the two. I'm saying you're buying a loaf of bread, you spend 20 rand. You buy two,
Yes.
40 rand. You buy three, 60 rand. Which How can you classify that cost of bread here? Will it be fixed or variable?
It will be variable because you adding on the change of prices is changing.
Yeah, it is marginal. It's marginal cost. So it means as long as it keeps changing, if you add more, it's going to be variable. But if it doesn't change, it will remain fixed. Do you get the difference?
So sir, if you are, let's say, for fixed cost, right, and it's a loaf of bread. So
Mm-hmm.
2 loaves of bread
Mm,
is 20 rand. 3 loaves of bread is
mm.
20 rand. The amount is not changing. The rand is not changing, but the price of bread, well, the amount of bread is changing, but not the price of bread is changing. That is
But
fixed
with bread,
costs.
it's not possible because if you say we said two loaves are 20 rand, eh?
Okay, let's say 1 loaf is 20 rand. You
And
buy
then
2 loaves is 20 rand. Three
yes,
loaves is still 20 rand.
yes,
So the amount,
yes,
the price is not changing, but the amount of bread you're buying is
yes,
changing. That is fixed cost. I
yes.
know it's a bad
So the
example,
total
but
cost doesn't change. I get your point.
yes.
Okay. As long as you can still buy bread, but it doesn't. It's very rare, but you. It doesn't matter how many loaves of bread you buy, you still pay the same price. If you're in that situation, that is the fixed cost.
Okay.
Yeah. But remember, from here, this is the total. Let's say I've got 100 loaves of bread. So that will be the total for 100 loaves of bread. It will keep changing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But the variable cost per unit is fixed. I don't know if it makes sense. I'm going to give you an example. Now, let's understand this one. So let's talk about the loaf of bread again. The loaf of bread, let's say, for example, we said the loaf of bread, a loaf, né, is
Yes, sir.
20 rand. Each loaf is 20 rand. Né?
Yes, sir.
So if I buy 5 loaves, how much will be the
The
price of
variable
loaves?
cost. It will be
How much will it be?
100.
Will be 100. Né? So this means, can you see now? It will be 100 because 1 is 20. If I buy more, it goes to 100. So it means this situation gives me what? This. Does that make sense? Because the total,
Yes,
can you see,
sir.
this is the total. If I can sell 10, it's going to be how much? It's going to be 200. Né?
200, yes.
But this, you use something, but this price, can you see this price?
Yes, sir. It's fixed.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Does not change. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. So let me just write that down.
Yes. The total, yes. They can't say, maybe you buy 20, 100 loaves, they don't change the price. It's still 20 rand. So the per unit, for one unit, it does not change, but for many units, it keeps changing.
Okay, so we may continue.
Thank you. So for fixed cost, okay, for fixed
Yes,
cost,
sir.
fi- fixed cost per unit is variable. So just the opposite of the variable cost. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you
Okay.
are paying, let me give you an example about the rent. So let's say you are paying 5,000 for the rent. month. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it doesn't matter as long as you are staying alone. The rent will still be 5,000. Can you see now? It doesn't change. Ne? That is the total.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you see now? But if I want to know, let's say now you have got 2 friends who join you in that apartment. Now you are 3. I can
Yes, sir.
calculate how much is the rent for each one. Like each one, how much is the cost? Can you see now? Let's start with
Yes,
2.
sir.
Let's say you have got 2 of them, and then let's say all in all, you're gonna, if there are 2 of them, ne? So all
Yes,
in
sir.
all, you're gonna be 3. So if I want to know per person, I'm gonna say 5,000 divided by what? By 3.
By 3.
Of which is gonna be how much?
5,000 divided by 3.
Mm-hmm.
It is 1,666,67.
Yes. This is per person if you are staying in that flat and you are 3, it's 3 of you, ne?
Okay, sir.
But what if you only one friend comes and now you are only 2? You divide by 2.
Yeah. Yes.
You get how much? 2,000?
2,500.
Can you see per unit it keeps changing, but the total cost doesn't change, but per unit changes. That's why I said fixed cost per unit is variable. It changes. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's just the opposite of this one. So this is what we call the cost behavior.
Okay.
Yeah. So in business, when we make decisions, we usually use the cost behavior because it's important for us to know how much is the fixed cost. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, if we're in business, remember, we normally use this. We normally say sales and we less, expenses, cost of sales, and to get gross profit. So when you are using this type of information, we normally take sales and we less variable cost and we get what we call contribution profit or margin. Let me call it profit for now.
So when you're using this
Calculate
calculation,
thereafter.
I'm saying, sir,
Talking
if we
about the
use
break,
so
we call it,
okay, it's the break even. Okay.
yeah. So let me write this thing down so that I can explain. And thereafter is then that we less what? Fixed costs. And we get what we call net profit. It's just that we don't have time. This one needs time. I'm just trying to maximize time, but this one needs more time, honestly speaking. But it's okay. I hope you get some basics now. So this is the format that we use, especially when it comes to decision making. I'm going to explain.
Okay, sir. You may continue.
Now, let me use figures here. Let's say, for example, sales. You've got sales of 10,000 rand and your variable cost.
You can use that one, sir. 5,000.
5,000, yes. And then obviously the difference will be the contribution profit. I'm going to explain what is the contribution profit. It's going to be how much? 5,000, eh?
Yes, sir.
And then let's say your fixed costs is 7,000, meaning I will make a loss of, I'm not going to make a profit, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to make a loss. So I just want to explain. So this one, you minus here, you get this one, and then you minus this one. So, do you know that, I don't know if you're ready, so that I want you to pay attention. Let me know if you're ready.
I'm ready, sir.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you look at this let me call it a profit and loss statement or an income statement, is this business making a profit or a loss?
They're making a loss, sir.
A loss. Ne? So sometimes when you're making a loss, let's say a month after month, you will be convinced to sell your business because it's making loss. Ne? I'm just giving an example.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know the reason why most companies don't sell if they're making losses? If you can check, I don't know if you follow soccer. Ne? Do you know that most of the soccer clubs are making losses, but they're still running the clubs? Do you know? Do you follow soccer sometimes?
Yeah, they're in there, sir. Yes.
So most businesses, if you can check their books, they are making losses. I'm telling you, they're making losses, but they still continue because they're afraid of this. Check this. They're afraid. The problem is the fixed cost. Because most fixed costs are contractual. In other words, for example, if you are paying a rent, let's say leases, most companies don't own buildings. You know that.
Yes, sir.
So, for example, you can find that for this business, they are paying, let's say, 7,000 per month, and the lease is for 10 years. Do you know that if you can stop the business now, the landlord will still need their 7,000 per month for 6 years or for
Yes,
10 years?
because the contract is 10 years.
Yes. So most companies say, at least if we keep running the business, we still have a loss of 2,000. But if they can stop this business, remember, if they stop this business, they won't have what? The sales. Can you see now?
Yes.
They won't have this profit. They will have to pay 7,000 and they're not making anything. This means if they keep running the business, at least they cover 5,000 of 7,000, and they can only worry about how much? 2,000. I don't know if it
2,000.
makes sense.
Yes. Yes,
Meaning
sir. Makes sense.
this profit contributes towards fixed costs. So the little profit that we made here covers 7,000. That's why we can only worry about 2,000. But if we stop this
Mm.
business completely, we won't have this 5,000. It means we must worry about 7,000. That's why it's better to run the business, because when you run the business, even though we're making a loss, at least we don't worry about 7,000. We worry about 2,000.
Yes.
I know it's a lot, but I want you to understand this. So when we speak about contribution profit, it means the profit that we make to cover part of the fixed cost.
Oh, okay.
Think about you. Let's say you are working, you are not
Yes.
earning, people always say they're earning peanuts, but they still go to work because if you're earning peanuts, at least you can pay rent. But if you stop, who's
Yeah.
going to pay rent for you? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Something is better than nothing. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand, sir. So